Chad, it's great to be back.
It sure is, Paul. How are things?
Things are going well. Things
Good.
are going well.
Good.
Got off to the new year, so
24.
2024.
Yeah.
Big build up.
Yes. What have you noticed this year so far? Some changes that have really stuck out to you.
Well, I think that there's still some uncertainty out there, but less uncertainty for the people that we're talking to.
I
think
see
so.
that. Yeah.
And not just personally, but professionally as well.
Yes.
You know, last year was a little bit of a dicey year for a number of people.
It was.
And surprisingly, some of the people that I would not have expected either have, made comments recently about how difficult 2023 was.
A lot of people. I've noticed that. It seems like 24 is off to a little better start.
Yeah.
Maybe people are feeling a little bit better about, maybe interest rates coming down pretty soon. At least that's what the Fed is kind of alluding to.
Yeah, that'll make a big difference across.
Yeah, that does, and I think we're on a little better trajectory. One thing that I've really noticed, though, and I'm just going to be quite frank here. I spent a good amount of time on LinkedIn, as we both have.
Yeah.
And guys, it's time that we cut the industry jargon out.
Yeah. By that you mean jargon, right?
Yeah, jargon. We got to get rid of it. I mean, there's a lot of fluff out there that from people in the marketing, branding, advertising world, which is all one big pot mixed together, so to speak. I think it boils down to building the right foundation for a business, for a business owner. That from that foundation, everything else transcends.
Yeah.
Okay. It transcends into marketing. It ultimately transcends into advertising.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
It's really not that profound.
No.
Right. So when you start getting into all these, industry jargon words, big words, to me, it's like going into the doctor and just having a doctor give you all of these big medical terms, and you sit there and go, what?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, and then there's a number of things that we have seen over time that begin to lose their meaning, and that now that they're so cliche. Okay, so storytelling is one of the ones that drives me absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
everybody's a storyteller. Now, at its core, storytelling is absolutely fundamental.
Sure.
I mean, that is a skill that has been around forever.
It has.
Since man could talk, storytelling was critical. But what it's used in now is just it's a buzzword. It has lost its meaning. It becomes a kind of a cliquish thing. Like, hey, we're in storytelling mode. Like Tribe's another one that drives me crazy.
Yeah, I hear that a lot too. It gets
again,
so
at its
old.
core, it is a tribe is so important. But once it becomes bastardized.
It gets to the point where it's just cliche.
Yeah.
And really what this thing boils down to, and let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Okay. Get to the bottom line, be honest, and just say, listen, here's the deal. If you want a successful business, you have to have a solid foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. That starts with going inward. Okay. That's your why.
Yeah.
That's why you're doing, what you're offering to the public, why you're different.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course that gets over into, colors, fonts, and all of the other stuff. But when you break it down that way with a business owner and explain that to them and say, listen, this is what you've got to have. All right. Then we can move over to the next, to the marketing and to the advertising world.
Yeah.
It's really not all that profound.
No, it's not.
But when you start searching around and you start seeing a lot of what is being put out there, and I'm not trying to call people out, but at the same time, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
They make it sound like some sort of a mystical creature that is so elusive that, we're trying to find Bigfoot.
Gotta find him.
He
exists somewhere, Chad.
Come on.
Promise.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get real. I mean, I hear people talk about segmentation. I hear people talk about all these big words, and it's like, okay, well, segmentation is simply just dividing your audience into different segments for marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, based on, geography and, the stuff that matters, right?
Yeah.
Their wants, needs, and desires. why are we having to, why are you giving this information to people that don't know really anything about the business?
And nothing to support it, nothing to bring it down to a common understanding. So one of those things that I've seen and just really dawned on me of late is content. Everybody's got to get into content creation. Everybody's got to get better content. It's a content race. It's a content. That's just communication. We've been doing that forever. But when the focus is, or the conversation is brought to this content, like this is something that is brand new,
right?
And it's so abstract.
It's profound.
Yeah.
Paul. It's a mystical concept. I think of it in the way it's presented a lot is just like, you ever seen like a picture of a pond with all this smoke coming off and this, in this sunset and all this mystical type, thing. And it's like, look, storytelling goes back to when we were kids, right? Yeah. For me, it was my grandmother reading me a book, right? Telling me stories about her life, educating me, entertaining me.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah. And it historically the best storytellers are the ones that are most influential as well.
Yeah.
Think about the most popular artists, musicians have been excellent storytellers in their writing and the music that they write.
Yeah. They're able to invoke emotion, from people. And that's essentially what it is.
Yeah. Well, and that's not, emotion is another one of those words. Emotion and relationships where and maybe it's, they're buzzwords, maybe they're shallow cliche. I think what it is that people are talking about all of these different concepts and storytelling, tribes, brand, all of these things. But they're not talking about of anything with substance of like, hey, this is what it means on a practical level to talk to your one customer.
That's it.
Then the next customer. That's and it. Having a straightforward conversation. Yeah. And then it gets so conflated. Yeah. And really, I've seen so many beautiful things created out there that don't do a daggum thing.
No, they don't. They do nothing. They don't fulfill the purpose.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, let's talk about, I'm going to ask you a question just give me a layman terms answer. Okay?
All right.
What is a brand?
Brand?
That's all I see is this, your brand. We know what a brand is, but does the general public really know what a brand is?
The general public, somebody that's going to go purchase a good or service, they don't wake up and say, I'm going to go get this thing from this brand.
Right.
That's not how they articulate it in their minds or even think about it. Mm-hmm. What they do think in their minds is, I have a need, and there's either somebody who I know that can satisfy this need, or I have to go look for them.
Sure.
So that brand is either known or unknown to them. Mm-hmm. So they have a need. They're going to solve that need, or they're going to satisfy that need. And a brand exists for everybody. Sure. It's just a matter if you are going to intentionally share who you are and your identity with your customer base, or if they're going to stumble upon you and they're going to interpret it for you.
Sure. That's it.
So at its core, a brand is who you are. Mm-hmm. And if you are not taking control and articulating who you are and what you believe and to whom needs to hear that,
right,
then you're leaving that to chance.
Sure. Absolutely.
You're leaving that to chance.
A big chance. And another thing too, I think, in today's world, nobody has the corner on any market.
No.
It just doesn't exist. And listen, if you do, consider yourself extremely lucky and enjoy the ride for the 6 months or however long you have that corner, because it's not going to last long.
Not at all.
So to think that you can just, throw something out there, throw a logo, a website, and just go to market, right? It's not, you're not going to get, the traction is just not going to be there.
No.
You've got to, basically, you got to differentiate yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is through exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's identifying why you're different.
Yeah.
It's identifying what you stand for and the goal that you want to offer that customer who needs what you have to offer.
Yeah. Well, and it's speaking in terms that the customer can care about.
Yes.
So just left a meeting a little while ago. And as we're putting together the messaging and the branding for this campaign, it just kept coming back to, why should anyone care?
Mm-hmm.
Are you articulating to them why they should care, why they should interrupt their day to give you any time?
Yes.
If they have a need, why should they care? It's like, you just put a post out recently about satisfaction. If we're aiming at satisfaction, that is like the lowest barrier that you could possibly get.
It's so overrated.
But that's, if that's what we think is our value differentiation, we have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do.
Yeah. But I think a lot of business owners think that in order to go above and beyond and give that extra assistance to somebody, right, and delight them, that it takes so much more work and effort.
Yeah,
it really doesn't, man.
No, it doesn't.
It's in the little things. If you think about the relationships in your life, think about your marriage. It's in the small things that make all the difference in the world to make somebody feel validated and cared for and wanted. It's not any kind of it's like, for instance, and I use this in the post, and and this is kind of an example. You get your car fixed, okay, and that fixing the car, having it perform well, and getting that service completed. That's satisfaction, right? And
exactly.
That's great. I mean,
I asked you to do X. Yeah. You fulfilled that.
You've done that, and I appreciate that, right? But when you go to pick it up and that vehicle has been thoroughly cleaned, it's like, wait a minute, man. I didn't pay for that, okay? You didn't have to do that. So you took the extra time to have somebody do this for me, to clean up all the dust and the grease and everything else, and present this to me not only running better and looking better, but cleaner.
Yeah.
I mean, man, look, it's in the little things. It's the stuff that people, they don't necessarily think about.
Yeah.
Because you've by fixing the vehicle, you've done what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Fulfilled the transaction.
Yeah. I mean, and tell me what delighting a customer does for that customer on a long-term basis. What do they become?
All right. So it builds loyalty, but it builds rabid fans.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've experienced this in my own consumer life, is the brands that do go above and beyond, that actually delight me, that I have that surprise factor. Like, oh my God, I did not expect that.
Right.
I will interrupt conversations if I overhear a discussion about a particular good or service, and I'll say, hey, sorry to interrupt, Chad, but you've got to go see my buddy,
so-and-so,
who's not my buddy, but they made me feel like that.
Right.
They're my guy,
Yeah.
When you delight somebody, you get to that level of, they're my guy. That is my company. That is my part of my identity now. And so now that brings it back to like all these buzzwords, tribe. That's what really a tribe is when you have made and what is delighting? It's building a deeper relationship.
That's it.
And so when you have a deeper relationship, you can take the fluff and the buzzwords and all the, watered down all crap.
Jargon, yeah.
That's what a tribe is. If you're looking to build a tribe, you have to be actionable like that. If you're a dentist, are you calling later to check up and say, hey, Chad, we just drilled on a bunch of your teeth. Are you doing okay? It does not take a lot of time, but I guarantee you'd appreciate that.
Oh, big time. That's the little things that help people be successful and help. Everybody is looking for this differentiation.
Yeah.
It's talked about everywhere. Your differentiation. You got to differentiate. Okay, great. Again, it's not a mystical creature.
No,
it's not. Something that it's not elusive. It's in the little things, right? To truly differentiate yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a major undertaking or ordeal.
No. And I would say that the vast majority of businesses, and swap out a logo, change some words, some employee pictures, it's the same thing on their website, from website to website. There's really not a true differentiation from one to the next.
That's it.
And I've said this probably way too many times, but one of my favorite authors, David C. Baker, He talks about it's hard to read the label from inside the bottle. And so if you're trying to differentiate, but you are either doing it by yourself or with your partner or employees, you're in an echo chamber.
Yes.
It's really hard to have some good perspective when you're all sitting there and like, oh my gosh, this sounds awesome. We are so different.
Yeah.
And yet you're just not.
And in your own mind, you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I love I love the fact that, we pride ourselves on, and I'm just going to be honest, of cutting all the gimmicks, getting rid of all the fluff.
Yeah.
There's no magic in this. There's no BS in this.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk about things that work. Let's build it from the ground up.
Yeah.
With the right foundation. And let's work together to grow your business in a sustainable way.
100%.
Right? And that it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't.
It takes time, but getting the right foundation in place. Listen, you can go to market and have all the best intentions in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can have all the desire that you want, but until you get that foundation right, you're gonna be up the creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
I say this so much, it's just layman's terms. Okay. You're gonna find yourself sitting in the middle of a body of water with no paddle, and you're not growing, you're not moving, and you talk about frustration.
Yeah.
And it's all because you didn't get it right from the start. Am I wrong?
No, and the best time to do it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
The second best time is right now.
Yeah, it's right. If you didn't get it right from, and look, ideally for us, it's working with a business owner from the day one.
Yeah.
Right. But hey, look, I get it. That doesn't always work out. But wherever you are, we love meeting customers right where they are.
Exactly.
And helping them say, hey, look, let's just stop.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing. Let's pause. Take a deep breath, my man, and let's go back and just let's get it right.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're gonna have to at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, that's kind of that's a soapbox that we continue to stand on.
Yeah, and we're never gonna get rid of the jargon. We're never gonna get rid of the buzzwords. People are gonna try to take shortcuts, and that's where they start to lose their meaning. That's when they start to become cliche. Is people want to jump on a bandwagon of the storytelling of the tribes, and it's really a shame because those have really good deep meanings at their core, and they really are important for. Those are really important concepts for business owners to really understand. But man, when it just comes to cutting corners and they become just cheap, watered down buzzwords.
Yeah. I get more conversations, it seems like, from people that want to talk about SEO and tracking and all these different things, and it's like that has its place.
Oh, good.
Don't get me wrong. That's very important. But you haven't laid the foundation, man. I mean, you're trying to you're standing on on unstable ground, trying to climb, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, gosh, and that they just bounce around from. And again, each one of those things, like SEO, is incredibly important.
Sure,
but in its spot, in its place, and in its order. I think that's really like what you're saying is that. When you do things out of order and you skip one step or you have a very weak step that you just move on from, that's a pretty weak link that's going to come back and get you. You can do all the SEO you want, but if you haven't done everything, if you haven't earned the right to do SEO with a good foundation,
that's it.
It's going to waste your time and money.
Yes, every single time. And, if business owners can just grasp that concept, and look, man, I get it. They are overwhelmed in most cases with running a business and, offering, services to their customers. They're not, this isn't something that they should have to really worry about. It shouldn't keep them up at night.
No.
Just reach out.
Yeah.
Find somebody that can help you with this. And because if you don't, you're not going to grow.
No, not at all.
So, and if you can't get it right yourself, you're going to end up paying somebody like us $30,000 to get it right for you. When we can start from the beginning, lay it out right, get that foundation in place, and help you grow.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And then we can move past all of the jargon and all of the buzzwords.
Get rid of all that and cut the fluff, and let's just get to the meat of it. And deal with what it really is.
Gosh, life is so much better with a good foundation.
Isn't it?
Business is so much better with a good foundation.
I don't know how much more I can deal with all the fluff and buzzwords. It's about to drive me absolutely out of my mind.
Yeah. Oh, I'm one and the same.
Mystical creature.
One and the same.
Bigfoot,
All right, man. Well, let's go squash more buzzwords.
Let's go, man. Let's go see if we can shoot that elusive creature out there.
That's right. Keep fighting the good fight.
That's it, man.
See you, man.
Later on.